Hello and welcome back to another episode of One Kick from Glory. Of course, I'm joined as always by Craig on my left.
Peace.
And I got Matthew here as well today.
What's up?
We won, but at what cost? Of course, it had to be. El Sackico was successful. Ole survived again, but Conte is now back. Let's talk about Man United Spurs. Comfortable 3-0 thrashing at home. Nuno had to pay the price. Matthew, when you were set back and as it was dubbed El Sackico by the media and by us as fans, we were hoping that. I mean, I guess we were hoping that it was Ole would stay on. Mm-hmm. So in that regard, we've been successful. What do you think about this game and how it all went?
Glass half full, glass half empty. On the good, like you said, the good news, Ole's still there, but the bad news, Nuno isn't. We all knew that at least one of these guys was going after the game, regardless of the result. I caught some of the game afterwards. Man United, I think they just caught Spurs at the perfect time because they're on a bit of a poor run after West Ham, Vitesse, and I know they beat Burnley for the Carabao Cup, but it wasn't convincing, and it was far less convincing against. Put it this way, they made Man United look good, which is a hard thing to do for an opposing team.
That's true. Man United trashed this season.
If they can't do it themselves, and even last night against Atalanta, wasn't even Man United, it was Ronaldo versus Atalanta more than anything. Man United, they came with I think this came firing all cylinders, caught Tottenham completely flat. One of the worst displays I've ever seen from a team in my life. Not a single shot on goal. Harry Kane was back in Haringey. He wasn't at Tottenham for whatever reason. None of the players were like. It's almost as if they were condemning Nuno to. It's like it's not. Let's make it look like this is not working, because it kind of looked like he was out of his depth. The players were just not linking together, not trying to do any sort of thing. I mean, if you're conceding shots against Fred, and Fred had a really good shot. If you're conceding shots against Fred, something's really, really, really wrong. So it's only going to go kind of one way. So really poor by Tottenham, really, really poor. I'm not even saying that as a joke. Man United just kind of put them to the sword. Man United just had to turn up.
But speaking of Man United, I guess it's really impressive to see how well they performed anyway. Like, you can only beat what's in front of you. I know Spurs are, they're a pitiful team. Obviously, they've got a new manager now, so things could change. But for you, Craig, looking at the game, especially Ronaldo's goal, that volley from the pass from Bruno, I mean, he's just on another level. Even though he is now carrying the team single-handedly, he's on another level.
Yeah. He reminds me of Cantona. When Cantona first came to United and he was carrying that team and all the players that worked for Cantona, he reminds me of, he got that stature of a Cantona about him. The goal he scored was just world-class. No other player would have scored a goal like that against a world-class goalkeeper like Hugo Lloris. He just got it on his foot and banged it.
World-class?
He's a top-class... Well, he's won the World Cup.
He's not... I don't think he's world-class. I think he's below the world-class back. I think he's good. He's good. He's not
okay. He's got a good goalkeeper like Lloris then. He scored an absolute banger. I still think that... I don't know if Ole's ever going to get sacked to United. The way how every time it seems like it's going to lose his job, someone saves him every single time. He's like a cat with 9 lives.
That's literally what we've been saying. You said it last week how all they need is a half decent run. They've now lost their last 2 games. Ronaldo's played really well. I don't know about the others, but Ronaldo's doing good, and sometimes other people seem to want to join in. But you see how it turned around so quick. From how it was from against Liverpool. So
I guess the good news is he hasn't lost a dressing room because they're still fighting for him.
So he just needs to trying to find a set formation that works where he can integrate his star players and make it and work. I would love to see him give Donovan Van de Beek a chance in the team. Like, give him a run. Him and Jesse Lingard, give them a run in the team and see what they can do.
What about Sancho?
And
all
Sancho
that money
as well. And Sancho as well.
He can't even get. I don't get it.
But it's difficult for Sancho because he's got Rashford ahead of him. He's got Greenwood ahead of him. He's got Cavani. He's got Ronaldo. So
but should Greenwood be ahead of him though? Greenwood's performing. Don't get me wrong; he's scoring goals. He's playing really well.
Yeah,
but in a team that lacks creativity, because Man United's issues, they don't create enough chances for their key players, and where they've been really successful so far this season is that they're creating, let's be honest, the volley goal, that's a half chance. That's not a chance. And Ronaldo, just with perfect technique, scores a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
The second counter-attacking goal, that's just, again, it's just great vision. Good counter-attack between Bruno and to Ronaldo. Ronaldo, classic trademark chop, and then an amazing little through ball to Cavani. But that's all individual brilliance. 3 players doing great stuff. They don't create a volume of chances.
Yeah. But at the start of the season, Pogba was creating so many chances, like assists, getting loads of assists and all. I think my situation with Greenwood has to start every game. My honest opinion, he's a goal scorer.
He's young though.
He's a kid.
He could rotate. Oli could rotate Sancho and Greenwood.
He should.
He should rotate both of them. In some games, you can rest Greenwood, and some games you play Sancho. Like with Rashford now, since he's come back from injuries, he scored like four in 3 games.
He's been scoring.
He's been scoring goals. So maybe his role this season is going to be impact sub than him starting. I feel, because he's come back from a massive shoulder injury. He didn't have a good Euros because of the injury, and he's coming back into form now. So when it's going to really be crucial for United after Christmas, if United want to try and get up the table, they're going to have, after Christmas, Man United have always been slow starters over the years. Whenever they won the league, they've always been slow starters over the years. If you go through the Premier League history, they've always been slow starters. So I feel like if they can pick up form between now and Christmas, then the second half of the season, see what happens.
They've got tougher games that are coming up. They got us. They got City.
They got us as well.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
So the tough games are they're still coming.
Yeah.
They're still very much coming.
And I think if you mark Ronaldo out of the game, then most likely you can win the game against United now, because their defense, they're leaking in goals for fun.
Well, any half decent team knows that.
They're leaking goals for fun. So,
that is true, and I think that's a big thing with United now. They need to kind of really take these results, because again, like even the Atlanta draw. Again, Ronaldo does what he does, but it shows that they've got fight.
Yeah, of course.
So they're not giving up in games; they're just not starting well, and there's deficiencies in their personnel, deficiencies in the system.
Yeah,
but the fight's there, so hopefully they can kind of get this thing going and get moving on and get rolling. As for Spurs, I mean, we'll touch on your game before that, but I think the big elephant in the room now is Antonio Conte's back in the league.
Yeah.
Which first and foremost, how do you feel about that as a Chelsea fan, that your title-winning manager has gone and joined the club that have no hope or ambition of winning anything, but yet they've signed a guy who's a winner?
Well, they tried it with Mourinho and it didn't work. So unless they're willing to give the guy money, which is what he demands, I'm not necessarily all that worried. And I mean, but a new face, some new voices with a bit more experience could do some wonders for a team. But let's be real, have some good players. Let's not forget they do have some half decent players in that team. They have Golden Boot winners, those who can form to get you to a final, even if they don't. It's like a bridesmaid, always a bridesmaid, never the bride sort of situation.
Let me flip it on its head then. Do you see Tottenham finishing in the top 4 this season?
No.
Even with Conte?
No.
Ooh. Craig?
No. Honestly, I'm not saying because of Arsenal-Tottenham rivalry. I just don't think they have enough good enough players for them to challenge. I feel there's one team I feel that might.
West Ham.
West Ham are the only team I could. Yeah. West Ham.
West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool, and City are the teams that are most likely to get in there.
If Arsenal can keep their form going
and don't get injuries,
I don't get any serious injuries, I think they could challenge for top 4 this season. They could.
And Xhaka doesn't come back.
And we sell him to Roma. Jose, buy him, please.
I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, Antonio Conte going there is very fascinating because clearly they tried in the summer, it didn't work out for whatever reason, whether it's demands as a finances plan.
Yeah.
To me, because I know Tottenham don't like to spend money freely, it signifies that probably they've got an agreement for Kane to go.
I think so too.
If he's going to want his own players, and maybe he could convince Kane to stay with a new project, new idea. But it would signify to me they're going to sell big. Maybe even in January, Kane might move on.
Yeah,
and then they'll get some funds to invest. So we'll see. We'll see.
I feel honestly, to be honest with you, I feel if Tottenham to move forward, they have to sell Kane. He hasn't been doing it this season.
He had one foot out the door
and his heart's not in it anymore. There's no point if you're unhappy in life in something. There's no point staying somewhere you're unhappy. You have to leave and move forward.
He's dropping back further.
I feel like I think Tottenham and Kane, Tottenham, he needs to move on. He needs to go to another club.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's dropping further back into the pitch, close to the exit door, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going somewhere. I don't know. We don't know
The
where
bench.
it is. The bench.
The reserves.
Euston Station go to Manchester. Who knows?
Right. and from one project where they've got the manager in place now, so it should be interesting, to another one which they got turned down today by Unai Emery, which is Newcastle, and it's interesting that one of the reasons behind it, which has come out, is that he wasn't clear about their project and what they wanted to do, which is interesting because we know from having Emery as manager, his English wasn't the best then.
No.
Hopefully it's improved.
Yeah.
But if he's confused about what you're trying to do, that's not a good sign.
That's a worry.
Because he confused us about what he was trying to do. So if he doesn't even understand the remit of his job. That's crazy. But yeah, so I'm kind of looking at their situation, and the odds in the press makes a lot more sense. With people like Lampard being linked, with people like the players being linked to that job now makes more sense than it did before. So it didn't make sense why they would want to look at Lampard. Not saying he's not a manager that should be under consideration, but I've always felt like someone a bit more experienced, a bit more exciting for the project would be better. Lampard could work, but it's risky because you're down the bottom. You want to survive.
I feel
So
someone like Eddie Howe would be a good manager. Eddie Howe had a good record in the Premier League.
Yeah, but
Or maybe a Graham Potter. Graham Potter saved Brighton 2 seasons in a row. So
Graham Potter, it would be a good move, but why would he go to Newcastle?
He's
Money.
already good at Brighton.
he's got money to spend. Fantastic.
It's a hard sell.
Maybe Chris Hughton would be a good manager for them. I don't know if he'll go back to Newcastle. They sacked him the last time.
He won't go back. I wouldn't.
It's
If I was him, I
strange.
wouldn't go.
I don't know.
It's strange.
What managers are available right now to try the Newcastle project? Like a proper, I don't know. There's not a lot of managers available that who fit the Newcastle profile.
I still think the Ralph Ragnick option, Lucien Favre option, I think that's the way I'd go.
or even an Ajax manager, but would you want to leave
Ten Hag's
Ajax?
not
Oh,
going.
he ain't going.
No,
And he wouldn't
he's
go
going.
to. He wouldn't. I don't think he'd go to New. I think he would go
Going
to
out.
Newcastle in phase 2,
Yeah,
as in they've survived. They finished 7th
yeah,
or 6th,
yeah.
and then he would imagine take them beyond that. So it's a weird one. But you beat them 3-0 away from home, comfortable. James, I mean, should Jorginho have given him the penalty for the hat trick?
It would have been nice to have 2 back-to-back hat tricks from our academy players. But I suppose, like, if you still try to keep that position on the top of the table, business has got to come first.
Yeah, but you were 2-0 up
We're 2-0 up.
against Newcastle, and it was the 81st minute. I think you could have given it to him.
Ben Jorginho's was very greedy. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with him. I have no idea. It would have been nice to see him get a hat trick. It would have been and a unique one at all with one of our right backs as well. But the guy can finish. 2 fantastic goals. Pinpoint arrow shots. Not even one of our attacking players. So we've got goals coming from all around the park. So I ain't too worried the fact that we're lacking goals, because we always got players that seem to want to be going on and keep the game exciting. And that's the thing. When we have our we said before, criticism was with the fact we're not scoring that many goals. We scored 10 in 2.
And also, you had 19 shots today.
And we had 19
And
shots.
you're without a striker, you guys have really. It's really strange how the criticism early in the year was like, where's the chances coming from? You're not scoring a lot of goals, but you're still winning. You know, the 1-0s, the 2-0s, 2-1s. But now it's like you got no strikers, but your goal scoring's gone up, and the other players have really stepped up. Chilwell, James, obviously the boy Mason Mount, Hudson-Odoi seems to have rediscovered what it means to be a footballer.
I'm so
Praise
happy.
Jesus.
I'm so happy he's back in the team, showing what he's got. But again, when those guys come back, Pulisic's coming back. Ziyech, he scored yesterday. He seems to be finding his way a little bit. You've still got Kai Havertz there as well, and we still got players like again, Lukaku and Werner aren't even back yet.
Do you think he'll change the system once they come back?
I think it's worked so well because the teams we're playing lately are a bit more down the bottom end of the table. We're playing Norwich, Newcastle, and Burnley. We've got Burnley next. We're playing the bottom 3 teams in the past 3 weeks. So no disrespect to them, the players are allowed to have a bit more expression. They're not getting challenged as much. So it is working really, really well. The players can be a bit more expressive and daring. After the international break, I think it's going to get a lot tougher. I still believe very much in the system that we have, depending on if one of them are back. But I think if it's working at the moment, if we're still getting goals and we've still got players to come back, why not try it out? I think the first game back is like Leicester or something. Then we got United later this month. Why not try it? Why not? And then it just gives that little bit more hope and positivity that even with our 2 main scorers up front not being there, we've still got goals coming from the team.
That's a fair point. What do you think, Craig? Looking at Chelsea now, obviously still top, sitting pretty, 3-point gap. And it's interesting when these gaps start to form because this is when you can slowly start to creep away. Do you feel like Chelsea is starting to slowly march towards where they want to get to?
I think so, and they're doing it very well. They've got two of their goal scorers, natural goal scorer in Lukaku and Werner out injured, and they're still winning matches. Any other team in the Premier League who lost their 2-star players, they will struggle.
Yep.
So you have to credit to Tuchel, credit to him for doing what he's doing.
Yep.
And if you're Manchester United and you lose Ronaldo, that's your whole squad gone. So
So you have to give credit to the manager. I'm pointing on to Reece James. I think he's a top quality player. Top quality player. He's gonna. In the future, I was saying the other day that him and Trent are gonna be battling it out for the right back spot in the future.
They're the future.
After the World Cup, between them two, who's gonna be number one right back? I'm not saying who I'm gonna pick, but between them two, who is gonna be the number one right back?
It's gonna be hard though.
It's gonna be hard.
That's a nice problem to have.
Yeah, because I think after this World Cup, I think Kyle Walker will kind of put him to this because
I don't know. Yeah. I think they'll shift him centre back.
Yeah, well, they'll shift him his
pace.
Yeah, he can be centre back.
If he stays quick, if he keeps his pace, then that's definitely something that we'll need.
But I think after the World Cup, I think England will look onto the most older players, like maybe the Kyle Walkers of this world, Trippiers and all that they will be like, thank you for your service. Time for the younger players now to step up.
Through, got a lot of good youngsters coming through.
Got a lot of good youngsters coming through. So yeah.
And talking about players that could, come in and replace the already established players, we've got obviously Iron Ramsdale, who
Class.
That save against Leicester, which it is a great save.
Yeah.
Everyone thought it was a goal.
Yeah.
But just to add a bit of balance, the ball wasn't right in the corner. The free kick, it wasn't. I bet it wasn't. It wasn't right in the corner.
Yeah.
And it wasn't pacey.
Yeah.
It was more floaty.
Yeah.
Doesn't take away from what he did.
Yeah.
I think it's an exceptional save. I couldn't believe he saved it.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that it's a brilliant save.
Yeah.
But
Calm down, lads.
Calm
down, lads.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks really good. I think he by the end of the season, if he continues how he's playing, he might be England number one. And I think there's a good argument to say that maybe he should be coming number one already. But I like that he's having to work for his goals.
Yeah.
So I like that. But obviously, let's talk about the Arsenal game. Nice, it is a big 2-0 win against Leicester,
it's a massive
because
win,
this is one of the teams that we, they are in the spaces that we want to get to.
Yeah.
And I think this is now making people sit back and feel like
Arsenal coming back slowly.
Arsenal in contention. I like that I said that we should just calm down a bit. It's early days. We ain't done nothing yet, which is true. We ain't done nothing, but we're on stuff.
Yeah.
We're on stuff. So for you, Craig, looking at the game, how it all went, how do you feel today?
I feel like we were clinical. We took our chances. We scored the first goal. We went for the second goal, got the second goal. The only thing I will say is that we could have got more. I'd rather us got more goals. Because in the second half, I was watching the second half, Leicester were on us in the second half.
But we stood strong.
I know we stood strong, but
really
I like to say that if we can kill teams off like 3 or 4-0 at half time, then you can take off 1 or 2 players and rest a couple of players and give players like, for example, Martinelli some minutes. I'd rather see that than us holding on to the end of the game. I feel like if we can score as much goals in the first half as possible, then you can change it.
I think the thing that I really liked in this game is that when Leicester started to overload us in the second half, we brought on Odegaard and it brought a semblance of control. Evans should have been sent off for that foul
was
against
disgusting.
Aubameyang.
That was horrible.
But then the thing I don't like is, so he gets yellow carded, and then you flip forward to the Man City game. Laporte gets sent off for the same foul.
Yeah.
And then you have, who else got a red card for a similar thing? Another incident. It was another incident.
For this weekend?
Yeah. There was 2 similar fouls and they got 2 red cards.
I know.
Villa. Konza.
Yeah, Konza.
gets red carded for the same foul. And yet for Arsenal, oh yes, he made a mistake. VAR was like, oh no, it's all fine, it's all good. I don't get it.
I feel like some of the referees in England are not very good. They're very poor. They need to go get training, man. Trust me, they need training. They need to go back and do proper training, because you're telling me Aubameyang's through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. You're telling me that John Evans is going to catch him. If he let go of his arm, Aubameyang's through. Most likely will score. 1v1, I think Aubameyang would have scored that goal.
Because even the Villa one, the Villa one was a yellow and it got upgraded to a red. And you could argue with the Villa one that there were defenders coming back on the cover.
Yeah.
Laporte's one, you could argue, well, Kyle Walker's about, so he could have gotten back and made it tricky.
It was like 40 yards away from the goal.
It was further. Like, I mean, Aubameyang's one's on the halfway line, but it's against Johnny Evans. Sorry, but Johnny Evans can't run.
No, he can't run against Aubameyang or anybody.
Not since that summer holiday when he ran, but it's been a long time. It's been a long time,
Yeah.
So I find it very interesting how they came to that conclusion. But I like what I'm seeing from the team, slowly but surely. I'm not saying that Arteta's job is done, because let's be honest, like, as a club, the top 4 should not be our ambition.
Should we win the title?
It's the title. So no matter how we want to sugarcoat it, he's still doing a poor job.
Yeah.
Relative to where we should be. Not where we are right now. Because we're off our standards.
Yeah.
We're like a supermodel who went through a very rough period and is trying to rediscover her glory. But she's put on a bit of weight. She's just looking a bit off. She's had her heart broken a few too many times. Sounds
like Naomi Campbell.
No, Naomi Campbell has... Listen. Naomi Campbell has not, cannot, and will never fall off. She is just like...
Levels.
She's like fine wine.
Levels.
Ageless.
Levels.
Timeless.
She's nuts.
Levels.
Timeless.
Levels. You hear that? She's been around for decades, bro.
Timeless.
All right, let's get back to football.
Can't speak to some of the other ones, though. Some of the other ones need to just call it a day. Anyway. So I'm like, it's good what he's doing. Is slowly trying to get there, put things together, and hopefully now with the the investment that's been made, the time that they're earning, like he's earning a reprieve every week. That being said, if come the end of the season Arsenal aren't in Europe, proper Europe, not the Conference League,
Champions League or Europa League. I want Champions League.
I think it should. No. Arsenal, if they don't make Champions League this season, or if they make Europa and it's only because of like 1 or 2 points he missed out, I think he should be let go.
He spent
That's true.
He spent a lot of money as well.
It's not even about the money.
It's a time.
It's not even about the time. We have 1 game a week this season.
That's true.
2 at most. What more do you need? You had lockdown. Okay, we'll give you a pass. You want us to FA Cup? Well done. Last year, full season, 8th. Oh, whoop-de-doo. When he came in, we finished 8th. Now you've had a full season, free hit, no European football, no distractions, nothing, and you can't deliver. You can't get us back in the Champions League, really.
No, I feel I think what's going to be very crucial is January, because obviously we've got the African Cup of Nations and we've got like people like Aubameyang, Partey, Pepe. El Neni, all these players are going to Africa Cup of Nations, so he's gonna have to recruit in the January window, and he's gonna have to recruit very well as well. And the January window is very difficult to get players because of the time of the year and clubs are not
don't want to
sell their players. So
and you've got to pay for the nose for it as well.
And you're gonna pay a lot of money for players, so he's gonna have to be very.
But we got a club we can sell to, Newcastle.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of assets we can ship, which I think would do. I feel like this is gonna sound weird, but El Neni would do a great job for Newcastle.
He would.
Him and Willock.
I mean, he'd keep the like when they win the ball back, it's not going to go away. He'll keep it. He'll recycle it for them,
and he'll do it sideways, backwards.
They'll keep the ball. They'll keep the ball more with him. Like, I'm not saying they'll be more attacking, but the ball's not going to go anywhere. They'll have the ball with him. And
then I'll say him and
Rob Holding at the back.
Rob Holding, Callum Chambers, if you want him,
and I'd even say Nketiah up front.
Yeah, and Kessler will be a good signing for Newcastle,
He'll get games.
He'll get games. He'll have chances to score goals. Will he bag? Only time will tell.
I feel personally he wants to leave anyway. He said he's not going to sign a new contract. So he said he wants more game time before he signs a new contract.
Listen, Palace came in for him, and because of his greedy agents, they wouldn't accept the offer. So I don't know how true that is, but
Newcastle got money, so they offer him whatever he wants. So
they're rich, they're not stupid.
Yeah,
well.
That is true.
And they're not going to spend, they want value for money as well. So,
yeah.
All right. So, obviously, we've had a lot of games this week, a lot of performances. Who would you say, Matthew, was your player of the weekend? Because I know mine.
I know yours is. I'm not going to say it, but I know who it is.
It's not who you think it is either.
No?
Nah.
No, you know what? I know who my player of the weekend is going to be. Mine is going to be, he's a Chelsea lad not playing for Chelsea. I'm going to go with Conor Gallagher. I'm going to go with Conor Gallagher because you look at that fixture and think this is going to be a City walkover. But let's not forget about history. They've done it once. They've done it before. They've gone there and they've gotten a result. I just had a really funny feeling about this weekend. and them going and doing something. And lo and behold, I was watching intently. I watched Liverpool dropping points, and I'm watching City as well dropping even more points. I'm thinking, yes, this is just what I need. And he wasn't only good player on the pitch, but he signifies what's going so well about Palace at the moment right now. Young, exciting, fresh, no fear, fast, and fight. Because going to the Etihad is tough for a lot of teams to get even a point, let alone a goal. And they got that and the win. I know the Laporte sending off thing does help, but I'm convinced that even if they drew, that's still points taken away from Man City. And then City they're not the fear factor team anymore that they once used to be. I know they beat us, but they're not. They've lost far too many characters in that team, and it's just easier for them to down twos. But taking nothing away from Palace, and especially the players like the older heads like Zaha and the younger heads like Gallagher, I thought there was absolutely like stellar performance in that midfield, shouting the Vieira shout, and I just thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Craig, who's your player of the week?
I'm gonna get to Wilfred Zaha. I think he absolutely terrorized that Man City defense. I was gonna give it to Ramsdale, but I'm gonna give it to Wilfred Zaha this week. Yeah, I think he really needs to move to a bigger club now, because he's been playing at Palace for a long time and he's always been consistent with them. Scored loads of goals. I think he scored 50 goals for them now. I feel like he needs a new challenge. I would take him at Arsenal if the price was right.
The price won't be right.
But if we could afford him, I'll take him. Yeah.
Have a word with Patrick. Come on, Patrick. Come on, Patrick.
I'll take him. I feel like he would be one of the missing pieces. Like, he could help people like Saka. He could help people like Smith Rowe. Like, just his experience alone will help them become better players. Become not better players, but they become more clinical in front of goal. I think Zaha is very clinical in front of goal.
I think he'd be a great piece to add to the jigsaw that we have in that he could win us games on his own. And I don't think we have enough players. I don't know if we have any players that could win us a match on their own.
And I always thought Pepe could do that, win games on his own, but sometimes he's just... Yeah, but that's another debate for another day.
So my pick is going to be one that's a surprise for both of you, actually. I'm going up north. Claret and blue. First win of the season. I'm giving it to Maxwell Cornet.
Oh,
Who has
fantastic player.
He's come in and he's shown them that a little bit of spice is all right. A little bit of seasoning
is all right.
It's good for the feelings. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's come in. He's got his little thingy on his hair, like, you know. But he's performing so well, and he is single-handedly, maybe to your disappointment, gonna keep Burnley in the league. I think his just him being there is giving him an extra spring, and he just seems up for it. Yeah. He's on it. Like, every game, you just look at me and like I thought he was more of a defensive player, but no, he's a winger forward, and he can play left back. But he's here and he's ready to make himself be known. Like, he's doing a great job.
Bit of reggae sauce.
And to beat Brentford, who are the team that we've all been looking at and thinking they're the ones to really set a marker. It's interesting. I think it's going to be a very, very strange season in general. I think there's going to be lots of ups and downs and chops and changes. I think
Brentford have got a couple of injuries at the moment. They lost their goalkeeper for 5 months. Reyes out for 5 months. Wow. And they lost another one of their key players. So I think they're gonna struggle for a little bit. But if they can pick up points here and there, then I think they should be okay anyway.
Who are they playing next?
I don't even know, you know.
Let me have a quick look to see.
I think maybe a hard team again.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So their next match is Norwich at home.
Oh, that's a winnable for them.
That's going to be that's an interesting one. I mean, let's just quickly talk about Norwich, because I do feel for them in many respects. It's not easy being a team that you're far and wide too good for the Championship. Like, they're just too good for the Championship. But whenever they come up, they just can't hack it in the league. So where do they go from here?
I think it's recruitment as well. They're a club that they
spent a lot this summer.
They rely on academy players.
No, they spent a lot this summer.
On who?
They've done good business as well.
On who?
Like to Buendia.
They sold Buendia, but they buy a lot of players, academy players, and they train them up and then they sell them for profit.
But that's not good for survival.
No. Who did they buy in the summer? I know they bought that guy from Chelsea, Gilmore.
No, he's
on loan.
On loan.
Yeah.
He hardly plays him.
So they brought in Rashika, 9.9 million.
Who is he?
He's a right winger. They got him from Werder Bremen.
Quebec. I was in Quebec.
They got Josh Sargent,
From where?
Werder Bremen as well.
Yeah.
They got Christo. I mean, okay, they have like the age profile of players. They are quite young, and there's not really a standout. Oh, they've got Brandon Williams. Raw.
Yeah, he's another loan as well.
Has he been playing though?
No.
Well then, that's my point.
And you can pick from what Man U and Chelsea players are not playing them, and they're both good players.
Just waste of time.
You know what? Okay, they have made quite a few signings, but I'll be honest with you. Okay, Kabak is of the permanent signings they've made. Kabak is the only one that I know of from what they've played. Rashika, I feel like I've seen him play for his country. So
Is he Moroccan?
He's Kosovan Albanian. So I feel like I've seen him play.
Okay.
For his home country, but the rest of them. Anyway, this is why they're. I think they've made signings, but when you look at the players they've brought in, they're not really good. That's the issue.
saying.
They've not bought quality; they've just bought quantity.
It's handling that pressure of being in the
I
Premier League.
forgot Norwich do it. Norwich buy players for the championship, innit? So they know they're going to get relegated. So what they do is
No one.
they buy the players from these lower league clubs in Germany because they know that they do well. They won't do well in Premier League. They'll do well in Championship. So they get relegated. They'll win a championship next season. And they come up again, then they'll sell them again, then they'll recycle every time. So that's what they do.
They're doing it on purpose. It sounds like they're doing it on purpose.
Well, come on, man. How many times has Norwich been up in the Premier League the last couple of seasons and they keep on going back down? Now it's making sense. Like, come on. Come on.
I mean, yeah.
I'd rather someone else like a QPR get promoted because I know they'll try their best and they invest in their squad. They've got quality young players coming through. They'll invest in their squad and they'll try and stay up.
I think the big problem is that they spend a lot of money, but on players that are not first teamers that are going to move the needle. They're players that could develop into something interesting, but they're not. Like looking at those names, it makes sense now. They've spent a lot, but it's not been well.
They got a guy from Burnley as well.
They've not spent well.
They got, I think, one of their defenders he got sent off against us.
Oh, I know, it's Ben Gibson.
Yeah.
He's a championship player.
They're all championship players.
Well then, that's my point.
But Tim Troll's a half decent keeper though.
Was.
He's not that good anymore. They bought Angus Gunn as a backup from Southampton.
Angus Gunn to be given a chance in the team. Angus Gunn's a good goalkeeper.
He was good for them last year.
He was good at Southampton.
Yeah, why not play?
But then obviously they want.
Why do you think Billy Gilmore's not getting minutes?
Ask Daniel Farker. Ask him. I think he's a big part of the problem as well because it's almost as if they're happy in that cycle of up, down, to be literally in 20th for the whole time to then be in first in the championship all the time as well. There's no real gap in the middle. I just think they've been faithful to him and he's been there for a while and he got promoted twice. But surely you want to try and stay up for maybe one season?
So I tell you
break that dark?
So I tell you what it is. Lack of ambition. That's what it is. If Norwich had ambition and they get relegated this season, tell Mr. Farker, whatever his name is.
Yeah, but I mean, when they got relegated the previous time around, I understand why they stood with him because it was a case
started quite well.
Yeah, because they started one and they just couldn't maintain it. So it made sense to keep him, and actually he justified it by bringing him back up again. The problem this time around is that they've started poorly, and the players look like they're ready to give up and go on holiday. So
I personally feel that if it's not working by Christmas or January, you're going to have to make the decision. You got to make the decision. You got people like Gilmore. Gilmore played well in the Euros. Why don't you play him? Brandon Williams was when Shaw was injured last season or season before last, he was class for them. So why not playing them? They're good young players, English, British players.
They need that experience because the clubs they're at granted the chances they'll be given. Gilmore has shown that he can do it in Chelsea shirt. Brandon Williams shows that he can do it in the Man United shirt.
True.
You owe it to play probably the players from two of the top teams in England.
I tell him Gilmore's not better than the midfield that Norwich have already.
Probably.
Oof.
Well then, it goes to show, innit? But are you telling me Brandon Williams is not better than the left back they got already?
Who is the left back they've got already?
He's rubbish. That's what it is.
But the thing is,
he's not good enough.
It's about investment and being in a small club. Look at a club like Brighton. Look at a club like Brighton, how they've steadily come up to how started with Chris Hughton to where they are with Graham Potter.
Yeah.
Slowly, but taking on loaning players from bigger clubs, eventually buying them, and then having excellent investment, buying from clubs like Brentford and even taking from top teams. They're not a big, massive club. They don't spend lots and lots of money. But they've got a guy who was experienced in Europe. They're now playing really good football. They're not the biggest club with the biggest stadium. But look where they are now, very much in the top half of the table.
And the thing is as well, they got sellable assets. They sold Ben White for 50. They can 50 million. They can sell someone like a Basuma for 50, 40, 60 million if they want.
Tariq Lamptey.
Tariq Lamptey can go for 50, 60 if they want.
Yeah.
They got sellable assets. The goalkeeper's quite good. Sanchez is quite good.
Yeah.
And they got Lewis Dunk. They got experience and they got youth.
And Shane Duffy went to Scotland for a year.
I know. And they got that Spanish player. I like him. Cool. What's his name?
Cucurella.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's class.
And who was the one who scored on Trossard?
Baller.
Yeah.
Starting to get those goals again.
And the thing, he plays for Belgium.
Yeah.
So he's getting minutes.
It can be done, yeah. Even the team in the past, like Bournemouth, they set up for a while. They're a small club and they managed it. So why can't they do it?
Well, okay. So on that note of staying up, then this will be our last thing before we close. So right now the bottom three is Burnley 18th with 7 points. I'm certain you'll be happy with that. Newcastle 19th with 4 points.
I'm not happy about Newcastle there.
After 10 games played. And then Norwich City are 20th with 2 points. So above them, so I'll go from 14th down to 17th. So 14th place, you've got Southampton on 11, Aston Villa in 15th on 10, Watford also on 10 in 16th, and Leeds. So yeah, Watford, Villa, and Leeds are all on 10 points.
Wow.
So that's 15th. So looking at those 7 teams, right? Southampton, Villa, Watford, Leeds, Burnley, Newcastle, Norwich. Which three you see is going to go down? I'll start with you, Craig.
Boy, Norwich is definitely going down.
So you don't see Norwich getting out of it?
No, they ain't getting out of it.
Okay.
Only if they change their manager. Okay, so
you're condemning Norwich. Cool. Newcastle, Burnley, the last two in the bottom three.
If Newcastle do good recruitment in January, I could see Newcastle getting out.
So who replaces them? Leeds, Watford, Villa, or Southampton?
Southampton.
And then Burnley.
Boy.
Well, we know how you feel about them. So. Okay, so you keep
with Burnley, if Cornet continues scoring and they can pick up points.
So who replaces them?
Aston Villa, Leeds, or
really?
I don't think Leeds will go down.
Aston Villa, Leeds, or Southampton? Because did you put Watford in for Newcastle?
No, I didn't put Watford in Newcastle. I said Southampton for Newcastle.
Okay, so Aston Villa, Watford, or Leeds?
Or they got the Ranieri effect, so I think Watford should be okay. But if Watford continue struggling, maybe Watford.
All right, Matthew, who's getting relegated from those 7 teams?
Norwich already relegated.
So Norwich down.
Playing for the Championship. I think Watford will go with them.
Watford.
I think Watford are going to sink. Ranieri is not going to make that much of a difference. Didn't work for Fulham. It's not going to work here. And I am going to put in Burnley, because I think Newcastle are going to escape with that. You don't invest in a team like that, and you don't see it even with players they have, but they're not going to attempt to stay up. Because if you did, your fans and the city are going to look like absolute fools. So I can see Newcastle shaving it. I say by a handful of points, but I think that irregardless of Cornet, there's not really much else going on for them, I'm afraid. I think it's going to be So I mean, in no particular order, apart from Norwich, Burnley and Watford.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep Norwich down because I think it's going to be tough. I'm going to add Watford to the mix because, again, I just don't see them. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm really worried. I'm concerned about Leeds.
Same.
However, with Rafinha and Rodrigo, I feel like those two alone.
Leeds will stay up.
Those two alone will do it.
And they've still got players to come back.
But the only concerning thing for me with Leeds is that the pattern that I'm seeing is very similar to the season when they should have got promoted. And they fell away, then they went to the playoffs, and then it just completely unranked. That's the year when they got beaten by Derby. It's feeling like that season a little bit, but it's early days, so it's 10 games in, and they're safe right now. So yeah. So aside from them, I might chuck down Villa.
Villa, but you see with Villa, Villa got goal scorers in their team.
They got goal scorers, but they're wobbling.
I think Villa will be like. I think at the end of the season they'll be in the bottom half, but they can pick up points. Danny Ings scores goals.
Let's see.
Watling scores goals.
Let's see.
Maybe they might have to buy 1 or 2 players in January. Maybe. I don't think Villa should be all right.
Well, it should be what they.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, it should be.
They took the Grealish money and they spent it. So
I think some of the signing, like Buendia, hasn't really proved himself. I like the signing of Leon Bailey. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, he's good.
He looks decent. Some of the recruitment's been poor though. Very poor.
But we'll see.
Or maybe they're missing Grealish more than they think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I think I'll get over it though. That should be.
You know
fine.
what? Next episode, we'll actually look at some of the squads and see
Yeah.
who's bought who and who's performed. Like, yeah, we'll touch on who's performed well for each team. So we're gonna do some research this
Okay.
week and we'll
Alright,
get into that.
Cool.
But yeah, I think we'll wrap it there. It's gonna be a very interesting game week coming up. We've got some. Let's have a quick look and see what fixtures. Oh, we got the Manchester derby on Saturday.
It's only going to run out of luck.
We got before that we've got Villa Southampton on the Friday night. That's gonna be very interesting. Chelsea Burnley. This should be nice 3 points at the bridge. We'll have a big game. Brighton Newcastle 5:30 on Saturday. That's gonna be very interesting for Newcastle. They probably might hope to get a sneaky cheeky 1-0 away victory. Arsenal Watford. Got to keep the run going. Everton, Tottenham. Well, that could be El Sackico Part 2. Or not. Or it could be the restart because Everton needs to get back in gear. So that's interesting. Liverpool, West Ham. That could be really. So again, because that's 4:30 on Sunday. So that could have a big implication for West Ham with how they're going to finish the season because of course other teams will be looking for them to lose. So yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting to see how that goes. So we'll touch on some of those games coming up, especially the City derby, the Manchester derby rather, and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And hopefully Newcastle can start to pick up some points.
Definitely.
But until next time,
when's the Man City game going to be?
Sunday, Saturday at 12:30.
Oh, okay, that's
Lunchtime
right.
kickoff.
Early kickoff. Because normally them games are always on Sundays, like them kickoff games are always Sundays. So,
But we'll see.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, just rate it and give us a little comment. Tell us what you think. And who do you think has been the player of the week? Please let us know. If you're listening on Spotify, reply to the poll. Have a great rest of the day. Peace out.
Peace.
Laters.